Hello and welcome to the OriginMD channel. This video is made to show you how easy it can be to get started with Magic Duels against the AI. Using these suggestions with only the starter box, you can build up your dream collection of cards quickly. There are a few ways you can take advantage of the AI, and you will find yourself playing against it a lot, at least when you start the game. See level 1 video for the gold farming guide and what kind of quests can be completed with the featured deck. The AI used to play cards only from the latest set and the starter box. In Aether Revolt, it plays starter, Kaladesh and Aether Revolt cards. This means you can play a lot of creatures without being afraid of too many board wipes or other problematic cards from other sets. This deck is a classic and is expected to remain the same for the upcoming sets because it aims to deal with the opponent quickly and efficiently. No one will see you playing against the AI. So to maximize the efficiency, you should reroll your hand if you have less than 2 lands and restart the game if you have less than 5 cards after the mulligan. You should also concede if the AI has a super problematic deck and that has been generated randomly. This way, you will farm faster and can build your deck and hone your skills in ranked battles. Using this advice, you should win 80 to 90% of the time against the AI. The deck uses little mana, and usually we want to start our hand with low-cost creatures and spells. In the beginning we play out as many small creatures as possible and try to deal damage. On turn 3, ideally we get one of our threats such as Flaring Flamekin or Skyhunter Skirmisher online. On turn 4-5 we continue attacking and we use Treacherous Instinct as a finisher. Now, let's discuss each card's role in detail. You may also skip to the gameplay if you already have a good grasp of the cards used in the deck. The Expedition Envoy is a good 1-drop for white with 2 power, and we want to have as many of these as possible. The Suntail Hawk is a 1-drop with flying we can enchant, but we don't need all the copies and can opt in for having only 3 of them. The Goblin Arsonist is our 1-drop for red mana. When it dies, it can deal 1 damage to a creature or player. Nimbus Wings is our source of evasion, making our creature with flying harder to block, and has synergy with Flaring Flamekin to boot, which we will discuss shortly. The Inferno Fist can be used to boost attack of any creature and also finish an opponent or a creature for 1 red mana, synergizes with Flaring Flamekin and good for Skyhunter Skirmisher. Reprisal can deal with fat creatures of our opponents, also good for stopping enemy vehicles such as a Renegade Freighter. Twin Bolt has seen less and less use, but can still act as a finisher or a removal for 2 1-toughness creatures. Skyhunter Skirmisher has double strike, and its main goal in this deck is to deal colossal direct damage to the player. With 1 power it deals 2 damage to a player. With an Inferno Fist it deals 3 damage from a first strike and 3 damage for a total of 6 damage every turn, unless it's stopped. Helios Pilgrim is not the most cost-effective card, but essentially it guarantees that we can cast an enchantment we need on the next turn. We can get a damage enchantment such as Inferno Fist, an evasion enchantment such as Nimbus Wings, a defensive one like Siegecraft, and a control one against planeswalkers or big creatures like Suppression Bonds. Flaring Flamekin is another key card in our deck. When enchanted, it not only becomes at least a minimum 6-4 or 5-6 creature with trample, it also has a mana sink ability, where we can spend extra red mana to bump it and deal massive damage to finish the game. Renegade Willsmith is a new Aether Revolt edition and is currently on probation. It's a nice card that can tap down opponent's creatures when it attacks, but its true effectiveness is yet to be tested in ranked matches. Juggernaut has to attack each turn and doesn't have trample. Enchanting it with Nimbus Wings makes it a 6-5 with flying, which is definitely not a bad situation to be in, since we mainly focus on attacking in this deck. It's a possible candidate for replacement because of its high mana cost. Siegecraft is a defensive hour that costs 4 mana, which is a lot for our deck, and doesn't look too well for our plan of winning fast as soon as possible, but it can still buff both of our main engines in the deck, so we will keep it, since starter card pool is limited. Suppression bonus is good for stopping planeswalkers and big creatures that could block your final push to victory. Last but not least is a card that has saved me more times than I thought possible. Treacherous Instinct not only steals better creatures from the opponent, it also buffs them with 2 power, making it ideal to push through with extra damage to close out the game. As for the mana pool, we have 10 plains, 8 mountains, 2 cliffside outlooks, and 2 stone quarries that come into play tapped. Now that we have discussed the deck, let's play. Let's have a look against the AI. We have a Suntail Hawk and not much else. Lots of enchantments but no creatures. I think we can restart this duel. Alright. Let's see now, only 1 creature. Lots of low cost creatures. 1 enchantment. Let's keep this hand and try it out. Blue and green. Alright, 1 more enchantment. This means we can slap the Inferno Fist on the Suntail Hawk. Red, green and black. Sacrificing the artifacts will give the Ravenous Intruder +2/+2. So let's go ahead and try and deal some damage first. We're dealt 1 damage. Alright, Foundry Inspector. So going to make artifacts cost less for 1. Of course, we're not going to stand to it for it. We're going to cast the Twin Bolt to get rid of it. And have our Expedition Envoy enter the game end of turn. Another Foundry Inspector enters the game. Alright, we have a Flaring Flamekin that we can cast and an Inferno Fist that we can attach afterwards. Let's just hope that the AI does not have Yehini's expertise that can take care of all our creatures before we enchant with the Inferno Fist. Now he's going to attack with a Fleetwheel Cruiser that has Trample and Haste. Of course, if this is the case, we are going to block like this. So no Foundry Inspector for our opponent. Let's go ahead and enchant our Flaring Flamekin. Then we can attack. We have Trample, which means that it is fine even if he blocks. He sacrifices, becomes 3/4. However, this is still not enough to block. And we also have Traitorous Instinct if he has any creatures. He doesn't, so let's go ahead and attack. And we win the game. Alright, let's see, we only have 1 mana and lots of small creatures. Let's risk it and keep this hand. Let's play out an Expedition Envoy first. And then if we have another source of mana, we can slap the Nimbus Wings onto it. Alright, servo schematic. I'm going to create a token, servo, and we want to restart. Let's see, we have 3 mana sources, more than enough. Only white mana, but this is fine. Let's go ahead and cast out an Expedition Envoy. Next turn we can attach Nimbus Wings for it to become a 3/3 with flying, with some evasion. We can also use the Heliod's Pilgrim to pull up an aura we need in the future. Alright, we also have a Skyhunter Skirmisher, so even better. 3/3 also takes him out of the range of Shock, which is a removal spell of choice for the AI. Any spells? Alright. Ravenous Intruder. So for sacrificing an artifact gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. We now have a red mana source. Let's go ahead and attack first. Bring our opponent down to 14 and cast out a Skyhunter Skirmisher. He attacks, we are not going to block. Foundry Inspector, so artifacts are going to cost less by 1 colorless. Let's see, we can cast out all the remaining creatures. He only has red mana, and red do not have any removal spells, mass removal spells in the last 2 sets, so let's go ahead and attack first. We get in for 5. Use the Heliod Pilgrim to search for an aura. I think we don't mind Siegecraft because we have more than enough mana for this. Another good option was to have an Inferno Fist because it's able to deal 2 additional damage. But I guess we are quite close to closing out the game anyway. Servo Schematic will create another token. He can also sacrifice them for the Ravenous Intruder. But honestly speaking, he can even sacrifice these 2 artifacts. Doesn't have trample, so let's just go ahead and block. Alright, also has a Snare Topter, but we won't be attacking with it. So let's go ahead and put a Siegecraft. Now let's attack. He blocks the Sky Hunter Skirmisher, loses it. We get in for 4 damage. And now he must take 19 life if he is to win the game. Alright. Has an Enraged Giant that has Trample and Haste using the Improvise. So he can now attack for 8. Now can even sacrifice the 2 artifacts. So now this is going to be an attack for 12 damage. However, this won't be enough. And we have won. Let's see, we do have some of our win con here. Let's try it. Let's go ahead and play out a mountain first because we have the Goblin Arsonist. Opponent has red and green. Let's go ahead and play out the plains, but we are not going to enchant our Arsonist with the Nimbus Wings. Alright, has a Renegade map that he can sacrifice next turn to search for a basic land card, or use for the new Improvise mechanic introduced in Aether Revolt. I should have probably cast out the Sky Hunter Skirmisher here with another plains. But let's cast out a Renegade Warsmith, Renegade Willsmith, because if he does have a single creature that he is going to cast, we can tap it down. Alright, has an Iodosphere Harvester. Also can have lifelink and can for 1 energy and can crew 1. Problem is that Reprisal requires power 4, so we won't be able to take care of it this easily. Let's go ahead and attack first. We get in for 4. Let's go ahead and play out another Renegade Willsmith. This way we can tap down 2 creatures when we attack. Alright, no creatures at all. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and attack. Alright. Still cannot crew the Iodosphere Harvester. Let's play out the Sky Hunter Skirmisher. Alright, has Nissa, so can make the lands become much stronger and can actually crew the Iodosphere Harvester. So let's see. we can tap the land and tap down his blockers with the Renegade Willsmith. So since he has two blockers, we're able to tap down both of them, meaning they cannot block, and this is going to be our victory. Alright, let's see. I think we can do better than this. No win conditions in hand. This will be too slow. This could be fine if we have an enchantment. Let's keep this hand and see if we'll be able to pull it through. Industrial Solvent from the opponent. Black and green. And another Industrial Solvent. Very interesting. Maybe a setup for improvise. Let's go for a Stone Quarry since we don't really have anything here that we can cast. We do have an enchantment for Flaring Flamekin. But black does have a lot of unconditional removal. Let's go ahead and play out a Flaring Flamekin and hope our opponent doesn't have removal for him this turn or the next. We also have a Traitorous Instinct for a good creature if it comes along. Alright, it's going to be Baral. So his instants and sorceries will cost less by 1. Let's go ahead and cast Siegecraft. The Flaring Flamekin becomes armored with 8 toughness. Also has trample. Opponent doesn't block. Down to 14. Alright. Plays out an Aether Herder. Not much except for this. Let's see. We can play out a Renegade Willsmith. Because the way I see it, if we're going to use the Traitorous Instinct, then he's just going to block with Baral. And with the Renegade Willsmith, next turn we can tap down one of the creatures and then cast the Traitorous Instinct on the other one. So let's go ahead and attack first. Let's see if he blocks. He blocks with 1, which is fine. We are also going to use 1 mana to buff him and leave just enough for the Renegade Willsmith. Opponent now has 6 mana. Industrial Solvent requires 7. Alright, opponent attacks. We are not going to block. And now he plays out a Self-Assembler, which is a 4/4 creature that can look in his library for another one like this, but he doesn't have it. We have 2 Traitorous Instincts, So what we're going to do is we're going to cast a Traitorous Instinct on the self-assembler. Then we are going to attack with everything we have. Tap down the servo, meaning it cannot block, and pump our Flaring Flamekin by 2 to close out the game and win. I want to thank you for watching and see you in the next video.